I think very little was actually written entirely during the hiatus. Most of it was together or around this, written around the course of the last couple of years. To me, it's more of a feeling, and then that's sort of what's required for a title of a Soundgarden album, because if there's any specific meaning, then it's not going to encompass the feel of the entire album from song to song, because there's so much going on. It can't mean anything. Now, it means this album to me. It means all the songs within it. There's something about it that's confident, which I like, sort of taking ownership of who we are and how we feel about the music within. To us as a band, I've always felt like we were an album-oriented band. We were a band that can actually draw you in and keep you there for an hour plus, and it's that kind of escapism that I always loved about music, where you're being drawn into someone else's universe, someone else's atmosphere. So the thing that's important about Been Away Too Long for me is that that's the right door, and then you open it and walk through.
It's also why it's the first song on the record, though.
Right, exactly. So it being the first song on the record, I think makes sense that it's the first single, but it's essentially the Once Upon a Time. It seemed to me like there was a lot of fans out there that were still listening to music, still talking about it, and it's not like it's not as mysterious as it used to be, because you have the internet.
We can be as cynical as the next bunch of people,
The breakup is there's lots of different feelings probably that surround that, and it doesn't sum up my feelings about reforming either, really. In fact, it doesn't really have anything to do with that, but the title sort of fits in it metaphorically, so. Essentially, it's a word, and the word actually has a definition and a meaning, and it's applicable when it's applicable, so it can never be outdated. It depends on what your focus is, If your focus is one thing, and our music is not that thing, it's then an alternative to it, if you're talking about music. Or music being an art form that's an alternative to film in terms of spending your time listening.
It's not underground anymore because it's popular, and it's not alternative anymore because it's an alternative.
If you look at decades of rock from the 50s until now, it seems like the 80s was the only decade where most of what was really successful didn't seem to resonate to later decades, and I'm not really sure why.
Because of the population. That's how it stays popular, right? The right population at the right time, that generation of people, that style of rock or whatever.
Definitely going out and touring and playing shows was absolutely about the fans. I mean, we felt fortunate that we're actually a band that has a legacy, and we're also a band where, for whatever reason, our music transcended like that brief period of time when we were selling millions of records, because we were a band, much earlier than the 90s, and being able to be together now and make new music for those fans is a great thing. It's a great feeling. And I think we made a new album that our hardcore fans will love, and then hopefully new fans will as well. Yeah. And then they'll have a 20-year history to go back and listen to. Well, right away we're going out. We're going to Europe and then some places in the US to do just some one-offs and some promo events for the release of the record. Yeah. And then after the first of the year, we're going to start doing actual touring to support the album, where we play shows. And
that first pass isn't really a tour, doesn't really count.
Playing music anyway, in any form, is, for me, outside of being with my family, is the only thing that I feel like is really worth doing. And playing music with Soundgarden is at the very top of that. So I'm in a good mood about it.